Hello everybody. So in this particular video we will discuss the Norma Basilis of the skull. Now this is the skull, and if you view the skull from its base, so this particular view of the skull is called the Norma Basilis. Now for descriptive purpose, the Norma Basilis is divided into three parts: anterior one third, middle one third and a posterior one third. The anterior one third, it includes this alveolar arch, the hard palate, and it is limited by this posterior sharp free margin of the hard palate. Then this is your anterior one third. Then the middle one third, it is basically extending from this posterior sharp free margin of the hard palate up to an imaginary transverse line drawn at the anterior margin of the foramen magnum. This is the foramen magnum that you're seeing. So if I draw an anterior at its anterior margin, if I draw an imaginary transverse line, this region is your middle one third. Then the territory of the posterior one third is basically from this imaginary line drawn at the anterior margin of the foramen magnum up to the superior nuchal line. So this is your external occipital protuberance, and from here there are superior nuchal lines radiating. So this is your posterior one third of the Norma Basilis. The lateral extent of the Norma Basilis, it is basically this alveolar border. It is laterally, it is extending to the zygomatic arch. Then let me bring it closer. This is the posterior root of the zygomatic arch. This is the posterior root of the zygomatic arch and the mastoid process. So this is your lateral boundary of the Norma Basilis. Now in this particular video, I will only discuss the anterior one third. In the subsequent videos, we will discuss the middle one third and the posterior one third as well. Now coming to the anterior one third. The anterior one third includes this alveolar border of the maxilla, which has got these sockets which will lodge the teeth. And then you have, by looking at these sockets, you can also determine the age of the skull. In elderly people, if the skull is of an old person, then the teeth will be fallen and these sockets will be eroded. So by looking at these sockets, we can also determine the age of the skull. Then you have this hard palate. This hard palate, as you can see, it has got numerous pits. These pits are for lodging the palatine glands. This hard palate is formed by two bones, the maxilla bone and the palatine bone. As you can see, this is your maxilla bone and this is your palatine process of the maxilla bone, which is forming the anterior two-third of the hard palate. So these are the two palatine processes of the maxilla bone. This is the horizontal plate of the palatine bone. This is forming the posterior one third of the hard palate. Now as you can see, this particular suture which is present between these two palatine processes of the maxilla is called the intermaxillary suture, and this particular suture which is present between the palatine process of the maxilla and the horizontal plate of the palatine bone, this suture, this is called the palatino-maxillary suture. This particular suture which is present between the two horizontal plates of the palatine bone, this particular suture is known as the interpalatine suture. So there is a cross-shaped suture which is formed between these four bones. This is called a cruciform suture. Now, behind the central incisors, we have an incisive fossa. So behind the central incisors, so these are the central incisors, and behind these central incisors, this thing that you're seeing, this fossa, this is called the incisive fossa, which has got two incisive foramen inside it, and that is a connection between the oral cavity and the nasal cavity. So from here, the greater palatine nerves and vessels will go into this incisive fossa and through the incisive foramen, and they will open into this nasal cavity, and from the nasal cavity the terminal portion of the nasopalatine nerve will enter the oral cavity through this incisive fossa. So this incisive fossa is forming a connection between the oral cavity and the nasal cavity. Now, if you look at two other foramens, this is one incisive fossa which has got two incisive foramen. Now, if you look at some other foramen of the anterior one-third of the norma basalis, this, as I told you, this is the horizontal plate of the palatine bone. This is your, somewhere here you will have your vertical or the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone, and at the junction of the horizontal and the perpendicular plate you have a a pyramidal process. Now, in the horizontal plate of the palatine bone, these two big foramens that you're seeing on either side, these are called as the greater palatine foramen. So they are very large foramens and they are single in number. एक ही foramen होगा आपका greater palatine foramen, एक ही होगा एक particular side पे. And from here, it is basically in connection with the pterygopalatine fossa. So if you see here, this is your lateral pterygoid plate and this is your maxilla, और इनके बीच में there is this pterygomaxillary fissure which is formed, which will lead into the pterygopalatine fossa. So from here, the pterygopalatine fossa, the greater palatine nerves, vessels and the anterior palatine nerve, it will come out through this greater palatine foramen. It will travel along the lateral border of this hard palate and it will go into this incisive fossa and will enter the nasal cavity. Once again I will repeat, this greater palatine foramen here, if you see, it is in communication with the pterygopalatine fossa. So this is your lateral pterygoid plate, this is your maxilla, इनके बीच में this is the fissure which is formed, this is called the pterygomaxillary fissure which is leading into the pterygopalatine fossa. So from this pterygopalatine fossa, the greater palatine nerves and vessels along with the anterior palatine nerve, it will come out through this greater palatine foramen and it will travel along this lateral border of the hard palate and it will enter this incisive fossa and will open into the nasal cavity. Then posterior to the greater palatine foramen, in the pyramidal process of the palatine bone, you can see two other foramens. They are called the lesser palatine foramen. They are very small and they are usually 3 to 4 in number. So I will show it closely. These are the lesser palatine foramens which are present posterior to the greater palatine foramen. So this is the greater palatine foramen which is present just behind this suture, the palatino-maxillary suture के just पीछे आपका greater palatine होता है in the horizontal plate of the palatine bone, and in the pyramidal process of the palatine bone, these two small foramina that you are seeing, these are the lesser palatine foramen which will allow the passage of the lesser palatine nerves and vessels as well as the middle palatine nerve and the posterior palatine nerve. So they are also forming a communication with this pterygopalatine fossa. So from the pterygopalatine fossa, the lesser palatine nerves and vessels as well as the middle and the posterior palatine nerves will come out through this lesser palatine foramen. They will again travel along this lateral border of the hard palate and go into this incisive fossa. Through the incisive foramen, they will open into the nasal cavity. Now, this is your hard palate and this is your posterior free margin of the hard palate. This particular posterior free margin of the hard palate is limiting the boundary of the anterior one-third of the norma basalis. Now, this posterior border, this is a free border. It is very sharp and it limits the anterior one-third of the norma basalis and it provides attachment to the palatine aponeurosis. Now, these two horizontal plates of the palatine bone, they will fuse together in the midline and they will form this bony projection which is called the posterior nasal spine. This is the posterior nasal spine. I will show it closely. So these two horizontal plates of the palatine bone, they will fuse together in the midline and they will form this spinous structure or the spiny bony projection which is called posterior nasal spine, and this is providing attachment to the musculus uvuli muscle, which is a muscle of the soft palate. It is a muscle of the soft palate. Then behind this posterior free margin of the hard palate, parallel to it, you have an elevation. This is called the palatine crest, and the area between the palatine crest and this posterior free margin of the hard palate, this area, this is also providing attachment to the tensor villi palatini muscle. This is basically a muscle. This is providing attachment to tensor villi palatini, which is a muscle of the soft palate. It forms the framework of the soft palate. So posterior free margin is providing attachment to the palatine aponeurosis. This area between the palatine crest and the posterior free margin is also providing attachment to the palatine aponeurosis. Palatine aponeurosis, basically an aponeurosis of the tensor villi palatini muscle, which is a muscle of the soft palate. It forms the framework of the soft palate, and this posterior nasal spine is providing attachment to the musculus uvuli muscle. So this is all about the anterior 1/3 of the norma basalis. Quickly, I will just revise. The boundary is this alveolar margin of the maxilla, which has sockets for teeth, and by looking at the sockets we can determine the age of the skull. The anterior 1/3 is limited by this posterior free margin of the hard palate, and the hard palate has got numerous pits for lodging the palatine glands. Then behind the central incisors you have an incisive fossa, which is forming a connection with the nasal cavity and the oral cavity. Then in behind this palatino-maxillary suture, in the horizontal plate of the palatine bone, you have a greater palatine foramen, which is forming a communication with the pterygopalatine fossa. Structures passing through this greater palatine foramen are the greater palatine nerves and vessels, along with the anterior palatine nerve. Then in the pyramidal process, you have the lesser palatine foramen, which is also forming a connection with the pterygopalatine fossa, and the structures passing through this lesser palatine foramen is the lesser palatine nerves and vessels, along with the middle and the posterior palatine nerves. And the attachments of the muscle, this posterior free margin and this area between the palatine crest and the posterior free margin of the hard palate, this particular area is providing attachment to the palatine aponeurosis, which is an aponeurosis of the tensor villi palatini muscle, and this posterior nasal spine is providing attachment to the musculus uvuli, which is a muscle of the soft palate. So this is all about the anterior 1/3 of the norma basalis. In the next video we will discuss about the middle 1/3 of the norma basalis. Thank you so much.